Good day. So, what do we have on our list? And our list says, oh, KinderMorgan. KinderMorgan. Well, it's the third pipeline to go. First was Keystone, and everybody opposes that. Keystone might go ahead with this Trump thing. Then there was Northern Gateway. Well, that was Northern Gateway. I can understand. I was against it too because it's impractical. If anybody's been in that environment, in a mountain situation, and they would have had sailing up through Kitimat and the narrow shoals and passageways of the Pacific, the fjords. Well, that's too dangerous. And north of Haida that wouldn't have gone either. So Northern Gateway was not really practical for what they want. Now KinderMorgan has everything. KinderMorgan route has already been approved. It has all of the services on it, which means if there's a spill, people can cope with it right away. It's all communications. It's along known highways and byways. KinderMorgan was a good idea, except for one thing, and I agree with it this way, that the people who operate it aren't really good at operating pipelines, even though they say they are. But KinderMorgan should go ahead. But the people in BC, they don't like it. Because of some absurd thing about, well, it's promoting dirty fuel. It's not their fuel, it's not their resource, really. It's Albertan, and they do have a duty to other Canadians to help them earn a living. Lord thundering if BC lost some money, and we'd sure hear about it. What is an alternative? My favorite choice, there is one option. Oh, the Eastern Gateway. Oh yeah, the Eastern Pipeline. Well, that was good too, except a lot of it was on old lines. They were reversing old pipelines, using some gas lines. It wasn't really a new line. And then you ran into the Quebecois, and of course, Quebec gets whatever it doesn't want. If they aren't making any money on it, then they really don't give a merde. So, there is one way. It's through the Port of Churchill. They could build a refinery at Casey Irving, could put in a refinery at another small refinery at the Port of Churchill. They could provide gas products in the summer to all of the northern Arctic, because most of the northern Arctic is on the coasts. It's they're Innu, and their whole livelihood relies on the sea, and it would establish northern sovereignty. And they have a rail line doing next to nothing. Most of the wheat goes year-round through Quebec, just south of Montreal, that area, Sorel. So really, they could have a dedicated route for all the oil products from Alberta and send it out through the Port of Churchill. Have a small refinery there. That way you ship oil in, you refine a few products. It would be a backhaul back into the provinces, the western provinces, and a haul up north, and a haul finished refined products for export. So my choice is, forget KinderMorgan, forget Keystone. The best choice would be to export oil out from the Port of Churchill, and make sure you put in a small port, or a small port refinery. Not a big refinery, you don't need a big one, but a refinery working all year round. So when the ships come in the summertime, you'll have 3 months of being down, 3-4 months of being down, out of service due to ice. But that's not bad. Nine months of serviceable weather, navigational weather. The Finns and Swedes are making really big progress on ice-breaking demand, on icebreakers, ice-breaking ships. So you could run it almost all year round. Refinery at Port of Churchill, rail link to Churchill, put in some grain elevators, rehab them, and it would fulfill all the Western promises for the Alberta. And Alberta would get upset because then it would lose its leverage, its wedge, and they would lose a lot of money, actually, if we reopened the Port of Churchill. But there's been no commitment for Churchill, and there should be. So that's all I got to say. Don't forget the Port of Churchill instead of KinderMorgan, instead of the Eastern Pipeline, instead of the Keystone. Use the Port of Churchill.